Welcome to Deep Dive Film School. I'm Adam Sherlock.
And I'm Adam Poulter.
If you like what you see/hear, please like and subscribe. You can find us in all the spaces and places that people what?
Find good media. That's right. Our most popular platforms are Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. So join us there. You can also follow both of us on Letterboxd at Adam Poulter here, at Mr. there. So please join us if you want to keep following what we do.
Yep.
All right. Let's get into that one scene from American Psycho 2000, the year 2000.
Yep.
Written and directed by Mary Herron. Now, of course, based on the Bret Easton Ellis book.
Yes.
And he also helped write the screenplay with Herron as well.
Yes.
But very interesting that this is a female-directed movie, too, I've always thought.
And I think it's interesting to see through the history how many different directors and producers and main actors were attached to this. At one point, David Cronenberg was attached to direct.
I could see him doing this
with
for sure.
Brad Pitt.
I don't think it would have been the same if he did it, though.
No.
Not even close.
Well, I think that was just it, is that nobody could really crack the code on this.
Well, it's such a male-dominant story, too, so having a female's perspective is really interesting, I think.
Another version, Oliver Stone directing with DiCaprio starring.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. I got to wrap my head around that. That's crazy.
But, I think Lane Turner, who wrote the screenplay along with Mary Herron, talked about that with the right spin on the book, they were like, this could actually be a really subversive feminist story. And so that's where they kind of found out how they could crack the code and do something different. Also, she fought so hard for Christian Bale. She's the only person he wanted, to the point where she actually, they were like, we're going with DiCaprio, and she quit.
Wow.
And then she ended up coming back and was like, when DiCaprio like left. Keep in mind, the only movie that she had really done before this was I Shot Andy Warhol.
Yeah.
And so it was like she got what she wanted, and like nobody knew who Christian Bale was before this. Like, I mean, basically
he's been around.
But the only things...
As a child actor mostly, though.
Well, the only things he was known for when this movie was made was Newsies...
And Empire of the Sun.
Yeah. Both of which he was a kid, right? So she was like... He was still a pretty skinny guy, and Mary Herron was like, I want you to get a little buffed up. This guy's pretty, like...
we can start here. Christian Bale's fucking gorgeous...
Oh my God,
man! In this,
but what he did,
we'll get into why we go through his routine here in a minute.
But what he did was, apparently he saw an interview with Tom Cruise, and he's like, when he was laughing, Bale said, I couldn't see anything behind his eyes. And it scared the shit out of me. And like I like Tom Cruise. Like I don't think he's a full-blown psychopath, but I know exactly what he's talking about.
That's funny,
right?
I wonder if has he been in something with Tom Cruise?
I don't think so. I don't know, but that's what he based it on. He based it upon this like Tom Cruise wannabe, where and he went fully method in this, to the point where it was like he in his trailer had pictures of two people. Tom Cruise, because he was stayed in character. He had Tom Cruise pictures everywhere and Donald Trump pictures everywhere. This is true.
Of course.
In 2000, right? Like this sort of like post Wall Street greed is good kind
British
of idea.
Actor, right?
He is British. He is British.
So,
he has a thick Manchester accent.
He's an American psycho.
Yep.
Let's give a little context to this scene. So the scene we did choose, if it's not obvious from the thumbnail, it is the scene where he goes through his morning routine in the beginning. We were considering some other scenes, but this one, especially after I've watched it, I realized, man, this might be one of the best, and it's a 2, maybe 3 minute scene.
Yeah.
But it might be one of the best exposition dumps that you don't know is an exposition dump.
Yep.
And that I've seen, that I can think of.
Explains so much about who his character is, the detached, detail obsessed, and that there's no, and this is something in the way he's describing his almond cleanse scrub and his all these different things he does. The vapidness and detached materialistic notion of it, his delivery makes it not feel like, oh, here's an egotistical guy who's really self-centered and cares about his personal image. It's, here's an empty vessel who's been told, here's the best blank, right? Because the whole movie, he talks about the best blank, whether that be the best Huey Lewis record, whether that be the best seats at Dorsia, the great restaurant. It doesn't matter. It's whatever the best is, and you go, he doesn't even care. He doesn't have an opinion about it. This is just what he's regurgitated from hearing or reading about what the quote-unquote best thing is,
so,
right?
He doesn't sound threatening in this scene, I agree. And, like, it is kind of a calm... You don't necessarily know what you're getting into yet, but it sets up this... Now, let's say, I mean, again, this is probably 4 or 5 minutes into the movie. The opening, we get these opening credits with this raining blood on this white fabric. Yeah. We get that kind of transforms into a food plating scene, and then we get served to the restaurant that these 4 guys are in. And this is really the only pretext that we get is these guys going to dinner, and it kind of shows you the kind of group of rich friends and who he surrounds himself with, incompetent white dudes basically who think they're better than everyone else but complain about women, Jews, and bad bathrooms to do coke in. Right. And so like it's just kind of setting up this wonderfully 80s world too, which I think is important here. But what we really get after they kind of leave the restaurant, they go to this club, but we get the first signs that Patrick is indeed an American Psycho, where he orders a drink from this pretty girl waitress at the bar, and when her back's turned, he says, you're a fucking ugly bitch, and I want to stab you to death and play with your blood. Right. And then it cuts to this scene.
She's like, what? And he's like, I said I love this place, or whatever. It's
like he doesn't. He just smiles.
Yeah,
and he's so good at doing that. And so we cut right after he says that line into this routine, and it's got this awesome piano score over the scene, and
very
it's effective.
Philip Glass, very 80s Philip Glass. It just kind of makes
it more elegant, right? And kind of elegance in this fucked up existence of a world where there's a blurred line debate of what equates success and what equates being a psychopath, and how close are those things together? Because guess what? They sometimes Donald Trump was one of his inspirations, so we could see that those things overflow sometimes.
Well, I totally agree, and I think that, one of the most, you talk about just like this great 80s kind of aping of everything. There's definitely a Philip Glass thing happening with the music, and then this shot while he's peeing. Les Mis, and then his face reflected in the Les Mis poster, which just like at the late 80s, like being a supporter of Andrew Lloyd Webber was like the crust of being like a yuppie, right?
That's so funny. Well,
it's so perfect.
I agree. That is probably the best shot in this scene.
Yeah.
There's another great shot when he's taking off the mask, which is also amazing as well, but that blends along with everything. But this is our kind of getting to know Patrick thing, and him explaining to us what he is or who he is or isn't in this scene. And to your point that you said earlier, he is trying, he kind of takes us to this routine of becoming this perfect man, or at least an alien's version of this perfect man to some degree, but getting this insight and perspective from a killer and this OCD nature, and he loves fucking name dropping shit, right?
Exactly.
The little details to make him seem that much more important. Like, I live on West 184th or whatever,
and I work at blah blah blah.
On the 11th floor high rise. And it is a beautiful apartment. This movie, the tone of this movie is wild.
Yeah,
it is dark. It is creepy. It's fucked up, but it's also quite hilarious.
It's very funny, and there's no. It's a nice apartment with no personality in it, just like him. There's once you get in through the front door, there's nothing happening inside of there, and it's like you're right. I mean, he is like, again, Mary Herron was like, maybe let's bulk up a little bit, and she said the next time that she saw him, she was like, it didn't even look like the same person. He had gotten his teeth done. He was incredibly tan. He had gained something like 30 pounds, which we know he's done multiple times in his career.
He's one of our great method actors, for
100%.
Yeah.
But these
he can do 1,000 crunches now.
Well, these getting ready, the crunches. And he is this like model-esque portrait of a man in these tighty-whitey briefs.
Yep.
But he also has on his ice mask in case his face is puffy in the morning.
When he does his 1,000 crunches,
And he's twisting his body around almost like a ballet dancer. And he looks like watching it this time, I was like, oh, he reminds me of Noonan as the Tooth Fairy in Manhunter, with that mask on and his lithe kind of like spider-like body.
But also, again, this Adonis kind of figure. Right?
Yeah. It's just fascinating. And it's so interesting to go back and see that, like, again, he was being method through the entire filming of this. And apparently multiple people, they did a retrospective on this, a 20-year retrospective.
Oh, really?
And they interviewed, I think it was an Esquire, and they interviewed all the main players. And multiple people, multiple actors in it said, we didn't know who Bale was, and he stayed in character the whole time. And we were all like, this is the guy that Mary fought for? Like, he can't even fucking act. Until the movie wrapped, and he showed up using his Manchester accent, and they were like, you're British? Like, no one knew who he was. And so they were just
Rap
like,
party.
Yeah, so they were like, this guy's a terrible actor. And it's like, no, he was staying in character the whole time. So he was awkward and weird and kind of mean.
Sure.
And he was just doing the thing. And everybody just thought and so he was the same off camera as he was on camera. So they were like, he's a bad actor. And then you have all these people, whether it's Jared Leto or whoever,
Sure. I mean,
after the fact being like, oh, he's British. Turns out he's a great actor.
I mean, it's like Jim Carrey doing Andy Kaufman or something like
Right,
that, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it is that method. And I don't get mad when I hear that actors are assholes who are method actors for some reason. You know, it's just like you're in their world now.
Yeah.
And maybe that's selfish to some degree for sure, but like, let them do what they're fucking great at.
Well, and
right?
apparently in an interview, Bale said one of the reasons why he does method when he's doing a movie is he's like, if I become friends with people I'm acting with, he's like, I'll break constantly. He's like, like, because I like the person and maybe we have some inside jokes, he's like, I'll laugh, I'll break. And he's like, it's something I've realized about myself over the years is that if I'm locked in the whole time, he's like, I know I'm doing takes that are worth a damn. And he's like, if I'm with somebody that I really like and that I'm friends with, it's incredibly hard to act opposite them because I can't be in the headspace.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Which makes a lot of sense, right? I was like, oh, that's actually, I get that, like, how it would be so much harder to be mean or to be spooky the way he is here. Apparently, early on, before they were shooting, Bret Easton Ellis had kind of asked, like, who's this guy that you're fighting so hard for? Like, I don't get it. And after he had bulked all up and everything, Mary Herron and Christian Bale showed up at a dinner with Bret Easton Ellis, and Bale showed up as Bateman and didn't break character the whole time. And Ellis was like, that was really disturbing.
Well, his book is equally disturbing.
Oh, it is. It's a really tough read, and I think the thing that Herron did so well with this just like overabundance of detail in this really detached, vapid way that we get in this morning routine. Like I said, he does it with music. He does it with dinner. He does it with all these different things.
It's the specifics, right? It's the little things. Like we go through the 5 different face washes he puts on in the shower.
Yep.
Or, the type of mask and what he does before and why he uses one without alcohol because it makes you dry up and look old.
Right.
And just like to the specifics.
That painstaking detail in the novel is the way everything is written.
Yeah.
Including both the sex scenes are so over the top.
The murder scenes.
Lurid description to the point of like a Penthouse forum letter. And then the murders are also. And it cost Ellis... it was really controversial when it came out, the book.
I can see why.
And a lot of people were like, it's misogynistic, it's all these things. And like, Bret Easton Ellis is a gay man. Like, Bret Easton Ellis loves like post-punk. Like, half the joke is that he made his serial killer, his psychopath, a yuppie who loves Huey Lewis and Whitney Houston. Like, that's the end joke, because he's like, you have to be fucking crazy to like these artists, right? And so he was like, why didn't you guys get what I was doing? Like, this is satire at the heaviest level
possible. It really
possible.
is, which is why it's so funny. And I can't really figure out, like, why this movie, it just melds so well. I don't know if it's like the way he talks or the way everyone talks in this movie. And you get Chloe Sevignon, who's basically the only decent person in this whole world.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say Willem Dafoe's character is okay.
Sure, yeah,
he's okay.
I forgot
he's
about
not that
him.
great of a
About him,
detective, but he's okay.
No, yeah, but he's a good person. He's trying to do the right thing, at least. Yeah, for sure. But for some reason, it mixed with the 80s and the tone that she creates here, it just works here.
I think it's in part because, and this is famously, as they talk about online, the handful of movies that people, so many people that idolize characters in movies that got it wrong, right? And it's like the Joker, not a great guy, shouldn't be your idol. No. Travis Durton from Fight Club, not a great guy, shouldn't be your
Tyler Durden.
Durden.
I thought you were going to say Travis Bickle.
Well, Travis Bickle's another one,
same
right?
thing.
Travis, sorry, maybe that's what my brain was doing. But Travis Bickle, Tyler Durden, not great guys, shouldn't idolize them.
Anti-heroes.
Well, and also be like in a lot of cases, the movies are making fun of them. Not so much in Fight Club. They make Brad Pitt seem like the coolest guy on the planet.
That's true.
But this movie does a fantastic job of Bateman is your main character. He is what the movie hinges on, to the point where he is our narrator, and also the movie spends the whole time like making fun of him. Like he is a bad person and he is a vapid character, and the movie loves to put him in circumstances where he's like losing his cool, right? And so
a business card scene, which
that's
is the
how
other one we considered. Yeah.
And that's how the movie gets away with it, is because it's not idolizing him, right?
Because everyone's like that.
Yeah. Well, and it'd be different even if it was like, Wolf of Wall Street caught the same flack of like,
sure.
You didn't do enough to make Jordan Belfort seem like a doofus. I mean, you do, but maybe there's just as much of him kind of seeming
maybe
cool.
A moral or ethical doofus. But
right.
The way that Patrick is different than all of these other people, of course, we do get this voiceover as, it's talk about perfect, synchronicity, of course, planned out. But as he's taking the mask off over him, he talks about, he's like, there is an idea of Patrick Bateman, but there is no real me, right? God. And you're just like, he delves into these realities of him being a human on the planet, and he talks about, I may shake your hand and our flesh will touch, but I'm not really there.
It suddenly goes from being kind of like silly and overwhelming in its detail to just fucking chilling.
And then that's where the scene ends. To my point at the beginning, they just set up all this exposition of this. The rest of the movie is us discovering what that actually means to Patrick.
Right.
And the rest of society even.
And now that we know his routine and his vainness, these other moments, whether it be where he's jogging in place with the most expensive Walkman on that's playing audio of a woman he obviously killed screaming.
Yeah.
Or it's him doing crunches in the front room while on his really nice television Texas Chainsaw Massacre plays.
That's right.
And you just go, all we needed was this little amuse-bouche of what his morning routine is like.
And everything else makes sense.
Yeah.
Leatherface is his inspiration.
I know, it's a crazy thing. It really is a masterful feat that they somehow pulled this off. And I know there's been so many talks over the last couple of years about somebody remaking it or whatever.
Oh, please don't.
But it won't matter, because they'll fail in the same way that when they did a remake of RoboCop, because whoever made it didn't actually understand what made it what it was. Right? Yeah, it wasn't funny, it wasn't satire, like they missed the point. And some of the male directors who've been attached to the remake so far, I'm like, y'all are going to miss the point. Like, unless you have a woman director who has that funny sensibility in her, if they were to remake, okay, we're going to remake American Psycho, and then the name attached to it was Greta Gerwig, I'd be like, you know what? We're going to be just fine.
Sure.
If you were like, it's Greta...
think about seeing that one.
If it was Greta Gerwig, and then like you had the fucking Gauze, you had Gosling as Patrick Bateman, like I would be.
He's already been Ken.
So he's already been Ken. So like now let's have him be Patrick Bateman. I would watch that. I was going to say, that would be
but
good.
Like even you talking about Cronenberg and Leo and Oliver Stone, I'm just like, I don't know how I feel about that, because this execution is so specific and unique.
Yep.
And the fact that it was made 26 years ago, pre-internet, pretty much, I think obviously this is in the 80s, but I just think the people that grew up making those movies in that time did not grow up on the internet. So they have these lived experiences, right?
Well, and then like the choice of him being the narrator, like there's so many things that make it work exactly the way that it is.
Yeah, I don't think you could recreate it and be nearly as good.
No,
not even close. But fantastic movie, of course. Fascinating scene. We really did think about doing the business card scene but that's more about him, and I still think we get that's more about him and that group, like work environment group of friends thing
it's
that
not
we were
him
talking
alone.
about. Yes, but the reason this works, I think, better than that scene is that, one, just the exposition dump that you don't even realize you're getting.
Yeah.
And then just leaving it open and ended at the end, which is, of course, especially in the first 10 minutes of the movie, you want to leave them hanging and like, oh, we'll go back to that. Don't worry.
Yeah. And if you didn't know it before, there's something really wrong with this person.
Yeah. He's not an idol.
No, he's not.
Don't look up to him. But thank you for listening to us discuss that. If you want to join us, you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, or you can follow us on Letterboxd at Adam Palcher, at Mr._Sherlock over there. Please like and subscribe if you like what you see/hear. We're going to finish out our Agnes Varda Festival next week with a bonus episode, and then we'll get into more scenes after that. So thanks for watching.
Bye, you guys.